it's when I start to feel like I'm floating outside myself, like I'm watching it all from a distance. I try to speak and my voice doesn't sound like mine. I look in the mirror and feel like I'm borrowing someone else's face. Yes, this is depersonalization, and it is the most terrifying thing that I ever went through in my entire life. I would have rather been beaten than go through depersonalization. I know that that may sound extreme, right? And I'm not trying to minimize getting beaten, which I've been through as well. I literally have, you can see my little Harry Potter scars on my head. I have had kids throw rocks at me. I was severely beat up, bullied. And I will tell you, I would have much rather been beat up than go through 1 second of depersonalization. It's a death symptom. Doesn't mean you're dying. Don't let that scare you, but your brain thinks that you're dying. Literally, if depersonalization is there, it's because your nervous system has entered the freeze response. And because you are in the freeze response, your brain is starting to dissociate you, which means to separate you from your body just in case you're being eaten by a lion. That's why you feel out of body, or separating you from the material world, which is derealization. Because if you're going to be eaten, you might as well not feel it. You could see depersonalization or derealization as nature's last gift, right? But when you don't know that that's why these symptoms are happening, you absolutely freak out and you get traumatized by the symptoms of traumatic stress, right? Depersonalization, realization are trauma coping mechanisms. Trauma is not a past event, it is a present state of overwhelming stress in the body. And the DPDR are there to dissociate you just in case you're being eaten by a lion, so that way you don't feel it as much. But again, if you don't know that, and all of a sudden you're feeling out of your body and everything feels fake and dreamlike, you're going to come to some really scary conclusions. Like you're going crazy, you're losing your mind, you're becoming psychotic. There's all kinds of fears that happen. But over 50% of people experience depersonalization, realization at some point in their life. I think it's much more than that. I think most people just don't have terms that they would even know to fill out on a survey or whatever. Over 2% of people experience the symptoms for 1 month or more. So these are some of the most safest common symptoms known to mankind, and not even mankind, but to mammals. Non-human mammals can experience these symptoms too, because they have the same nervous system as us, at least the same basic nervous system. So anyway, but yeah, it is absolutely terrifying, much more scary than, a racing heart or shaking. I understand that. Or any of the other symptoms that I dealt with, those were the worst for sure, the most terrifying. And I remember looking in the mirror, and it felt like, which I can't really grow a mustache. I can't really grow any facial hair. That's why I keep it so short. You can't really tell. It's kind of like Joe Dirt. Have you ever seen that movie? Let's just say my DNA doesn't allow for good facial hair, and I keep it real short. But I remember looking, and my mustache looked weird, and my face it's like it wasn't my face. I looked like my brother James, actually. And a lot of people think that we're twins, even though, I do think we look somewhat alike. But I kind of looked like my brother James, and it got so bad that I wouldn't even look in the mirror. I remember I trained myself to look down whenever I brushed my teeth because I didn't want to feel that weird feeling. Now it eventually went away, and now whenever I look in the mirror, I see this very, very large nose and this weird thing sticking out right there. I don't really know what that is. Kids will be like, "Why is there a bump on your neck? Do you have cancer?" And I'm like, I've got this thing called skinny disease. It just, yeah, it's, but anyway. But no, I do feel normal when I look in the mirror. But I remember looking at friends and family, and it felt like the history that I had with them had been completely erased, and that was very, very bizarre, because it's like, I should know them. Like I knew their physical appearance, but I had no history with them. At least my mind was dissociating me from their history. It was absolutely weird. People look like robots. I think I was projecting my own sense of detachment from my own body onto other people. So I felt very robotic. And so I kind of projected that onto other people. Anyway, yeah, not fun to talk about. I know this is, scary, but if you are going through these symptoms, I hope that this is encouraging you. And I remember whenever I was suffering, my God, I watched so many videos. I probably watched hours of videos a day, just trying to find somebody that could explain to me what the heck was going on. So even if the only thing you walk away from this video is you actually know what's going on, that began your recovery right there. And I hope that that brings a lot of hope for you, that you're not going crazy, and that there is hope that you can beat this.